Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee. Thank you for clicking on my YouTube channel. Normally I make content about books, about my lifestyle, health, beauty, all of those things. Today I want to talk about hair care. It's a little bit different from the other kind of videos I've been making and content, but it's also something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I think that other people aren't educated enough about, and that I'm hoping by making this video, I can help you figure out what your hair care needs are, what are some habits that you need to pick up to improve your hair care routine, and what could be stopping you from achieving the lengths that you really deserve. Okay, first thing that we're gonna do is to pinpoint what kind of hair do you have. I'm gonna keep it super simple. There are charts that you can look up that will tell you what exactly the pattern of your hair is, like the curl pattern, if it's straight, and how to take care of your hair. If you are curious about that, I'll put a link for that down in the description box below. However, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna keep it super simple. I'm not gonna get into those specifics. This video is specifically for people to help to pinpoint what kind of hair do they have. Because a lot of people, they don't even know how to properly take care of their hair. They don't even know what a hair type is. If they have a hair type, they just know that their hair is a grease fest, or it's chronically dry, or it's super sensitive, or it's oily on top and dry on the bottom. Other things that people deal with too, which is like chronic dandruff, chronic hair shedding. These things could pertain or be related to health. Again, I'm not a healthcare practitioner, I'm not an expert. If you do think it could be health related, please see your healthcare practitioner. However, if you don't think it is, please keep watching. For all the hair types, I'd recommend investing in some kind of detangling brush. There are different brushes based off of your hair. If you have very curly, very kinky hair, they do make certain brushes for your hair type. This is one that I found on Amazon. I think it only cost me like $5. I can drop the link down in the description box below. You can see it has many of those bristles on it, but they're also very bendy, very, very flexible. And this is what really helps to detangle the hair. For me, I have to brush my hair whenever it's wet because I do have wavy hair. And unfortunately, my hair has a habit that if I don't detangle it whenever it's wet, it has a terrible habit of wanting to wrap around itself and continue to tangle and continue to mat. So I have to brush my hair whenever it's wet. So that's why I have this detangling brush that I use right after the shower. Always start on the ends and then work your way to the top. I would highly recommend is gonna be a wooden brush. A wooden bristle brush is anti-static. It's gonna cause your hair to continue to keep that moisture in there. It won't cause it to become fluffy and frizzy. That oftentimes a lot of people find is what happens whenever they do go to brush their hair. So I would recommend that if you find you don't like static, that it's also great as well for stimulating hair growth, your scalp, and as well, especially with oily hair, it helps to distribute those oils a little bit whenever you do go to brushing your hair. A wooden hairbrush is great for all hair types because it's gentle enough. It is great at reaching down into the roots and spreading the oils and stimulating hair growth. The section of the video is gonna be for my oily hair types, meaning you wash your hair and then either later that day or the next day, your hair is a complete and utter grease fest. It doesn't matter how much you wash your hair, it's always greasy. It doesn't matter if you try to train your hair to be less greasy. I'm sure we all heard about that from watching other hair care routines or people talking about how to grow your hair long and telling you need to train it. I'm gonna be honest with you. There is no way to train your hair to be less greasy. Just like there's no way to train your hair to be less dry or to be less sensitive. It is a hair type that you're born with based off of genetics. And the sake of this portion of the video is to help you treat it, to help you better formulate a routine, to help it maybe not to be as dry or to be as greasy or to be as sensitive. The oily hair types, we're gonna start with your shampoo. A lot of people don't know that the label on your shampoo, if it says moisturizing, hydrating, deep conditioning, daily moisture, all of these things, if you see it's formulated with any kind of oil, that's probably why your hair is greasy. Because our scalps already produce more than enough oil. Again, talking about my oily hair type girlies. It's already producing more than enough oil. Whenever you're adding more oils, more humectants, more moisture to your scalp, it's gonna make it flat, it's gonna make it greasy, it's gonna make it oily, because your scalp is already doing all of the work to make sure that your hair stays hydrated. And that's what sebum is. That oil, that grease, that is just your scalp signaling, okay, this is dry, I need to produce oil. And that's normal. Sebum is so healthy. It's literally what keeps a seal on your hair and keeps it healthy. However, it can be really annoying. So oily hair types, I have found for myself personally as well, it's based off of the shampoo that you're using. It could even be a trial and error that you're using a conditioner on your scalp. Conditioner does not need to go on your scalp if you have oily hair, because conditioner puts a seal on the hair to keep moisture in. And what can happen is whenever you put this on your scalp, it's putting that seal, and it's going to cause your scalp to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I need more oil. This moisture, there's so much moisture on here, I have to produce more because it's keeping it all locked in. That's another issue that I found from our oily hair type girlies, is that they're putting conditioner on their scalp. Another thing that you could be doing wrong is a lot of people use dry shampoo. However, for oily hair, dry shampoo it will just make it more oily. It will make it look great the first time you use it, and then the following day it's gonna be a grease fest, because your hair is freaking out because it's too dry now. That's the downside whenever you have oily hair, is your hair is so good at moisturizing. Anything that you put on it, it will freak out and it will overproduce more oil. And instead of using dry shampoo, is investing in a Boar Bristle hairbrush. What this is gonna do, I can get you a close up, is the Boar Bristle hairbrush. So actually in ancient times, this is what a lot of women back in the day would use, so that way the oil could spread down to the lower lengths of their hair. It is, unfortunately, I want to say, a lost art. Not enough people use Boar Bristle hairbrushes anymore because it's no longer advertised in society. People don't recommend. Not a brush you use for detangling. These specific Boar Bristle brushes are used for distributing oils down to the ends of your hair. Because if you try to detangle with the Boar Bristle brush, it's going to get more matted, it's going to get more tangled. You will not get very far. This specific brush is made to distribute oils throughout your hair. I'd recommend this instead of dry shampoo, because another side effect of dry shampoo that a lot of people don't want to admit or tend to gloss over, especially whenever they're advertising a product for their company, unless it is all natural. It is made from arrowroot powder, baking soda, and cornstarch. It is going to cause your hair to fall out because of the harsh, harmful ingredients that are contained in dry shampoos. If you'd like to know more, you're more than welcome to go to my blog. I'll put it in the description box down below. So we went over the don'ts for oily hair. Well, what are the do's? What do you buy in order to help your oily hair to be less oily? You do want to do with your shampoos, look for volumizing, look for clarifying, look for deep cleaning, not deep conditioning. And also look for shampoos that preferably have sulfates. I know that it's been an ongoing debate, especially with like the all natural, the all clean beauty community. It's at your own discretion. If you've used sulfates in the past and you notice that's whenever your hair was the healthiest, please continue using sulfates. If you find that you've done your research and you don't like sulfates, stay away from sulfates. Invest in a sulfate-free shampoo. One of the best ones I would recommend that I love, that has helped my hair actually get on a healthy track, is the Arm & Hammer sulfate-free line that they offer. Amazing. It has completely changed the overall health of my hair. Highly recommend. I'm not sponsored by any of the products that I recommend in this video. It is 100% at my own personal recommendation. Another thing I would recommend is a conditioner. Find a conditioner that you personally enjoy using. You know that you'll use it. And also with conditioner, you want to use a lot of it. And by a lot, I don't mean like half the bottle. I mean like anywhere from that much to that much. of conditioner. Whereas with shampoo, typically you want to use like a dime size amount, maybe a little bit more depending on the formula. I typically eyeball it. But for our conditioners, we want to look for lightly moisturizing. You can even match whatever shampoo to the conditioner. I'm a mix and matcher. If I find a shampoo that I love, I'll look for a separate conditioner that I love. Because I've also found too, sometimes whenever I match shampoo and conditioners, it doesn't exactly give me the results that I want, because I have a combo hair type. My scalp is really oily, my ends are really dry. So if I use the volumizing shampoo and conditioner combo, conditioner is not going to dry my ends because it won't have any oils in it. So it won't actually hydrate my hair. I love the Garnier conditioners that they offer. I've been using them for years. They've helped me the best. If you find that you don't like drugstore, you don't trust drugstore, you only want... Another tip for oily hair, shampoo twice. Yes, twice. And what I mean is you shampoo, you get it clean, you get some more, shampoo it again. Just because I find whenever I would in the past, and by past, I mean literally many years of my life, up until I want to say the past 3 years, I would find shampooing once just never ever fully cleaned my scalp. I still had oily residue. My hair would get greasy the following day. It did not matter how strong of a shampoo that I used. It would always, always, always get greasy. So I would recommend shampooing twice. I would also recommend finding or formulating some way of an aftercare routine. Like, it can be as complicated as you want, it can be as short as you want. It totally depends to your lifestyle, how much time that you have. Because most of us, we work a 9 to 5, we have a busy schedule, or honestly, we're just lazy. We don't want to spend hours and hours in the bathroom, and I can totally relate and understand that. So we're gonna formulate a simple routine of investing in a detangling spray, getting a leave-in conditioner, whether that be, again, another spray, depending on if your hair is more fine or more thick. If it is on the thicker side, I would invest in a leave-in cream. And then lastly, getting a hair serum or a hair oil. Again, depending on what your hair type is, if it's more fine or if it's more thick, that's where you should decide if you should get a more hydrating formula or a more lighter formula. That just boils down to the reviews and figuring out what people say about certain products. For oily hair too, I would also recommend, if you are somebody that works out a lot, wearing a hat. Wearing a hat whenever you go outside, because what could also be causing your hair to get oily is pollutants in the air. And it could also be the hard water in your shower. So you might want to invest in a shower filter. But being outside in the elements can really cause your hair to get greasy. And that can be based off of pollution in your area. That can be based off of pollen. It can irritate your scalp and make you produce more oil. And honestly, just being outside, sweating in the sun will make anybody's hair a grease fest. This part of the video is going to be for dry hair, specifically dry scalps. It doesn't matter how much time you put in between your wash date and the actual time of your washing day, your hair's dry. It's chronically dry. What I would recommend is you can use shampoos that have sulfates. However, if you do, look for formulas that are hydrating, moisturizing, deep conditioning, because it will tone down the sulfates to where it makes it a much more mild formula. I don't discourage people from using sulfates with drier hair types. I would just a bit, because sulfates were made to remove, to strip, to deep clean our bodies as well as our hair. So I would recommend sulfate-free just all the way around. However, if you do still like to use sulfates, I'd recommend looking for moisturizing hydrates, and even with sulfate-free formulas as well, moisturizing, hydrating, because the issue is your scalp doesn't produce enough oil to moisturize it. So that's why I would recommend those kind of formulas. Some people find that putting conditioner on certain parts of their hair, wherever it may be drier, has really helped them. I typically discourage people from putting conditioner on their scalp just because conditioner is a sealant. It seals the hair. But if you use it and you find that it works for you, great. Definitely invest in a hair mask. A hair mask is going to transform, it's going to change the ends of your hair. I don't know about the top of your hair. Again, I don't put a hair mask on my scalp because I have oily hair. But I would recommend investing in one. It's going to deeply hydrate your hair. Some people actually find that they don't even buy conditioner. They just buy hair masks. From personal usage, I swear by the Garnier hair masks. By far one of my favorite. I'm currently using their Honey Deep Conditioner hair mask. Oh my gosh, 10 out of 10. If you have not used it, please use it. It's actually why my hair is currently so shiny. Honey is a great humectant for dry hair. And then for dry hair as well, only shampoo once. You do not need to shampoo twice, like what I recommended for oily hair. The aftercare routine. So after you shampoo, after you condition on the ears down or a little bit on your scalp, totally at your own discretion, your aftercare routine. You're gonna wanna definitely look for products that are a little bit more on the moisturizing side, that do have a bit more oils into the formula. Because your hair as it is, isn't producing enough oil, isn't able to moisturize like oily hair is able to. So whenever you do formulate your routine, same thing. I'd recommend a detangling spray, a leave-in conditioner. At your own discretion, if you have more fine hair, look for a conditioning mist. If you have more coarse, dry hair, definitely invest in a leave-in cream. And then to follow it up with a hair oil serum or any type of hair serum. Again, you're gonna wanna look for more oils, a much more hydrating formula. And to stay away as well for the drier hair types. I mean, in general, for all hair types, to try to avoid heat tools, but especially dry hair. I would recommend only using heat tools twice a month, especially if you're trying to get it into a healthier condition, just because it's already dry. It's already struggling to condition your hair. And if you do, please use heat protectant. Heat protectant would follow in before your leave-in cream or conditioner, depending on the formula. I know they make heat protectant balms. There's so many different types of products. It can be so overwhelming, especially if you're new to hair care, you're trying to get into hair care, you're already feeling overwhelmed by the recommendations. Yeah, definitely follow it up with a heat protectant. And then lastly, I would also recommend putting your hair in a protective style. Now I'm at home, so my hair is down, but typically whenever I go out, especially if I'm going outside, I always put my hair up, whether that be in a protective bun, in braids, in a hair clip, those type of things, because your hair, especially if you're in a humid climate, if you're in a dry climate, if you're in a cold climate, really if you're in any climate, the moisture in the air, especially humidity, sucks out the moisture in your hair. So whenever you put it in a protective style, it helps your hair to retain the moisture that you took the time to put into it with your routine. Another thing I'd recommend for drier hair types is definitely, so after you got out of the shower, you did your hair care routine. That hair oil serum is so important to apply the following day and the following day after that. I have found that whenever my ends are really dry, whenever I apply that serum, whether it be the day after or really whenever I notice that my hair is getting drier, it really helps to bring it back to life, and it helps it to really retain that moisture, because whenever you use a serum, it helps your hair to put up a barrier from the elements that are outside, whether that be from heat, whether that be from cold or humidity. So if you find that your hair is dry, please, please, please reapply that serum. And you can apply it as much as you feel you need to. Some people find that they have to apply whatever hair oil serum of their choice twice a day. Some people find they have to apply it every day, every other day. With this hair care routine, you're gonna have to figure out, unfortunately, what works best for you. I find that whenever my ends start to look dry, that's whenever I'll put a little bit of oil into it. For sensitive hair, I would highly recommend, so you probably watched the oily section, you watched the dry section, now you're on the sensitive section. For sensitive hair, please do not shampoo your scalp twice. Please do not use super moisturizing, hydrating products, because your scalp is sensitive. The littlest thing will inflame it. For dry hair, I recommend whenever you go to look for shampoos, look for soothing, look for calming, look for lavender or aloe or hemp, something that is, or oat. Oat especially is very, very soothing to the scalp. Aveeno makes a great oat shampoo that I personally find that whenever my hair is irritated, it calms it down. As well as baby shampoo. People have found that using shampoo that is actually made for babies is very, very soothing, and that actually it has really helped their overall scalp health. I love the Arm & Hammer shampoo. I love the sulfate-free line. The regular one is great, but their sulfate-free has really helped my hair to get in a much more healthier condition than where it was. I still swear by it to this day, because I know if I'm having a flare-up, or if I'm having an issue with dandruff, or if my hair is out of whack in general, it always balances it out. It always calms it. I shampoo with it twice, but since you have sensitive hair, I'd recommend just one wash is more than enough. And then depending on if your hair is more fine or if it's more coarse, will also depend what kind of conditioner to choose. If it's more coarse, it's very thick, it might be drier at the ends, I'd recommend using a hair mask instead of a conditioner. If you find that your hair is more fine, find a conditioner that isn't deep conditioning, that doesn't have a lot of oils, that has a super simple formula. I know that Garnier, they have, I'm trying to think, it's part of one of their lines. It's formulated specifically for people that have more fine hair. I think it only has a few ingredients, but it doesn't contain any oil. Garnier in general makes really good conditioners. Again, disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by any of the brands, products that I mentioned in this video. And then to completely avoid dry shampoos will inflame your scalp, will irritate your scalp. They will not help your scalp to get into a healthier state at all. I would also avoid putting any extra products on your scalp, whether that be hair balms or hair perfumes, anything like that, because those are irritants and your scalp is already sensitive, so will irritate it further. Some sensitive hair types actually find that they have to avoid fragrance altogether. So if you can, try to find a brand that makes fragrance free. I know Cetaphil makes a gentle shampoo that is fragrance free, paraben free. I don't know if it's sulfate free, but it does have a lot of frees on the label. And your aftercare routine for sensitive hair. Again, avoid putting anything except shampoo on your scalp, because every little thing will inflame it. Do not put conditioner on your scalp. But to move to your aftercare routine, detangling spray, leave-in conditioner, again, based off of if your hair is more coarse, then definitely get a leave-in cream. If your hair is more fine, get a leave-in spray or a leave-in lotion. And then lastly, a hair oil serum. I recommend this for all the hair types, just because that's going to put a seal on your hair before you dry it. And whenever you do go to blow dry your hair, do not blow dry it on the hottest setting, especially on your scalp. Your scalp is already so sensitive that heat is going to cause a flare-up. It's going to inflame it. Whenever you do go to blow dry your hair, dry it either on the cool setting, or if your blow dryer does have a medium where it's kind of hot, kind of cool setting, that'll be perfect. Whenever you do shower as well, make sure you're not putting it on the hottest setting in the shower. I know that we all love to enjoy hot showers, but that is going to inflame your scalp. Also, it could be as well, what could be irritating your scalp could be the water in your shower. If you have hard water in your area, it is known to irritate your scalp. That's actually why I had to invest into a water filter, is because I found out I had a lot of hard water in my area, and that's why I had so much inflammation and irritation, and how my scalp would go from dry to oily, or oily and dry, and it made no sense at all. And it was based off of the hard water in your area, because hard water can contain contaminants such as lead, mercury, as well as chlorine, which is very, very drying. who knows how much salt as well, which can also be very irritating, and many, many other things that are not good for your skin as well as your hair. Pollution outside can irritate your scalp, and as well as pollen. Whenever cedar is bad here in Texas, that's whenever I notice that my scalp is most inflamed. So keep an eye on the pollen and then determine if you should wear a hat that day, because wearing a hat like a baseball cap or a sun hat, it helps to really put a barrier on your scalp, so whatever may be in the air isn't getting onto your head and irritating your scalp. So be sure to check your weather app to see what the weather is going to be like that day. Chlorine as well is going to be a main irritant. If you know you're going to be going to the pool, make sure you're wearing a water cap, or just keep your head out of the water if you're just going in for a quick dip. Salt is also very damaging to the hair because the hair is made up of salt bonds. And what happens whenever we get too much salt in the hair is it will break down those salt bonds, aka causing damage. I can go more in depth than that in another video. But the main basis of this video is to help educate people on their hair type, as well as better understand how to take better care of their overall hair. For all of the hair types, I'm going to recommend protective styles. The reason is if you're going outside, you're going to be in the elements. You're going to be where there's wind. You may be where there's extreme heat, extreme humidity, or extreme cold weather, depending on the season, of course. Or if you do live in the city, you may deal with pollution. The reason why protective style is so important is, as the name implies, it protects your hair. It helps keep all of the moisture. You spent so much time doing your routine. Wouldn't you want to protect your hair from, number one, getting dirty, number two, getting further damaged, because wind can and will damage your hair. So will humidity, because it sucks out all the moisture in the hair. So will extreme heat, because it will dry out your hair. So will extreme cold, because it will also dry out your hair and cause it to break. That's why protective styles are so important. If you're at home, it doesn't really matter unless you're going to bed. Please wear a protective style, because if you're like me, you're a toss and turner. So if your hair is down, especially if you have longer hair, it's going to get completely tangled. And it'll help prevent split ends. It'll help you retain moisture. It'll help protect the overall health of your hair. And what these styles look like, it can be anything from a bun to a braid or braids. If you would like a video on how I do my own protective styles, please let me know. For all of the hair types, you will hear me repeat it. I am talking about the LCO method. It is a variation of the LOC method. Basically what it means and what it stands for: L is liquid, C is cream or lotion. You can go in with a lotion. And then O is oil or hair serum. The reason why I recommend this hair combo specifically is it's what I found that has made my hair so healthy. I think that if enough people applied it, it would really improve the overall health of their hair. If you would like to know more about this method, please refer to my blog. I talk all about it, what it is. But to summarize what it does is the LCO, the variation of the LOC method, basically helps to put up a protective barrier on your hair. So it is protected from the elements. So it is protected from humidity, from extreme heat, from extreme cold, from all of these things. It's so important to help protect your hair and to help put up a barrier of moisture and to really lock in and seal everything in. If you want to have healthy hair, I would highly recommend doing this method. This applies to all of the hair types: dry, oily, sensitive, combo, whatever it may be. Health, your overall health. If you do not take care of yourself, if you're constantly eating out, if you find yourself going on drinking benders, if you find whatever it is that you're smoking, whether it be nicotine or not, and how often you do it, these things can be affecting your scalp, they can be affecting your skin, they can be affecting your mental health as well. A lot of people, they don't correlate the fact that they ate at McDonald's for the past 5 days in a row, and then suddenly their scalp is super greasy, and they're really depressed, and they don't feel good about themselves. and then they have a bunch of cystic acne because the grease from the food actually made their skin even more greasier. If you do have oily skin, I'd recommend not eating out as much because it's going to cause flare-ups. Same with sensitive skin. Whatever you eat, it's going to cause flare-ups because all of these things are connected. What you're putting into your body is going to show on the outside. If you don't have a good diet, if you don't have an exercise routine, if you don't have any sort of health going on, all of these things are going to reflect in other ways. And our body, unfortunately, has a way of really showing us, hey, this isn't good for me. I'm gonna get super, super dry on your scalp and hopefully there will be a change. Or I'm gonna have a bunch of cystic acne until you cut back. And I find that this happens based off of what I'm eating, what I'm consuming, or what I'm not eating, what I'm not consuming. Vitamin-rich foods, as well as home-cooked meals. So again, you can follow all these healthcare tips on how to take care of your hair, but if you're not taking care of yourself from the inside, unfortunately, there's only so much it can do.